Today we're going to be talking about mixed numbers and improper fraction. So let's go ahead and dive into the video. So our first set of notes says, our first vocabulary word says a mixed number. A mixed number is a number that has a whole number and a fraction. Okay, so what that looks like would be 3 2/5. That is a mixed number. Okay, and an improper fraction is a fraction in which the numerator is greater than the denominator. And so what that would look like would be 17/5. Okay, and so if we look at this poster is telling us how do we change a mixed number into an improper fraction. And we are going to learn how we're changing a mixed number into an improper fraction. Always make sure we are simplifying our fractions first, okay? So we talked about simplifications all week long, and now we need to make sure we're implementing that whenever we are changing the two. So let's go ahead and look at our first example. Our first example is a mixed number. When we're changing a mixed number into an improper fraction, we always use MAD. MAD stands for multiply, add, and denominator. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to multiply the denominator times the whole number. So we are going to multiply 3 times 2, and we know that that gives us 6. Then we are going to add. We are adding that answer to our numerator. So we're doing 6 plus 2, which gives us 8. And that is our new numerator for our improper fraction. And then our denominator will always stay the same. And so this is our final answer. Did we need to simplify? No, we did not need to simplify this because 2/3 was already in simplest form. Let's look at another example. Change this mixed number into an improper fraction. 1 14/20. Do you need to simplify this? You definitely need to simplify this because we have two even numbers. And so when we talked about simplifying fractions this week, we made T-charts. So I'm going to make a T-chart for 14, and I'm going to make a T-chart for 20. You can write yours wherever you have space. I know that 1 times 14 gives us 14. It's even, so I know I can do 2 times 7. Can you multiply 3 times anything to get 14? You cannot. So we're going to skip 3. We also can't multiply 4, 5, or 6. So our only other option would be 7 times 2, and we can stop because that is a turnaround fact. We're going to do the same thing for 20. 1 times 20, 2 times 10. We cannot do 3, but we can do 4 times 5 and 5 times 4, and we can stop because those are our turnaround facts. Now we're going to write all of our factors. We have 14 and 20, and we're going to write them all in order so that we can find our greatest common factor. For 14, we have 1, 2, 7, and 14. And for 20, we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. So what would our greatest common factor be? The only other factor they have in common would be 2. Oops, and I did not write 2, I wrote 20. So we're going to divide 14 by 2 and 20 by 2, and that gives us 7/10. So now we're going to rewrite our mixed number, and it is going to be 1 7/10. And now we can use MAD. Again, we're multiplying our denominator times our whole number. So that's 10 times 1, which would be 10. And then we're going to add our numerator to our answer that we just got. So 10 plus 7 equals 17. And we know that our denominator always stays the same. So our final answer is already in simplest form. We did need to simplify, so our answer is 17/10. We're going to look at 2 more examples, and then you will do the last 2 examples on your own. Now we're going to talk about going from an improper fraction to a mixed number. So our first improper fraction is 12/8. Can you simplify those two? Yes, they are both even numbers, so we're going to make a t-chart for 12, and we'll make another one for 8. So 1 times 8 gives us 8, 2 times 4, and 4 times 2. For 12, we have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and 4 times 3. If I make my list of factors for both numbers, I know that 12 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And for 8 I have 1, 2, 4, and 8. What is our greatest common factor? Our greatest common factor would be 4. So we are going to divide both of these numbers by 4. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we did simplify, but we are not done. So now we need to solve this using Nito or our ice cream method, which means numerator in, denominator out. Our numerator is 3, our denominator is 2. And now I'm asking myself, how many times does 2 go into 3? 2 goes into 3 one whole time. 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 minus 2 is 1. If we were asking for a decimal, we would stop and add a decimal zero and continue dividing. However, whenever we are looking for a mixed number, we stop right here with our remainder. One thing to notice is that our denominator always stays the same. So we're going to circle our divisor, and our divisor will always be our denominator. So when we're finding our final answer, we know that 2 is going to be our denominator because it stays the same. It is the same here as it is here. We now need a whole number. The answer that you get when you're dividing at the top, this number at the top will always be your whole number. So we know that we got 1 whole time. And then your remainder, what you're left with, will be your numerator. So our numerator is now 1. And so now we have successfully converted this improper fraction to a mixed number. Let's try one more time. Change the improper fraction 9/4 to a mixed number. Do I need to simplify? I do not, because 9 and 4 have no other common factors other than 1. So therefore we can go ahead and take 9/4 and use Nito to find our mixed number. One thing we know is that our denominator will always stay the same, so I can go ahead and put that denominator 4 for my final answer. And now I'm going to put our numerator inside and our denominator outside. I'm asking myself, how many times does 4 go into 9? It is 2 times, because 2 times 4 is 8. Now we will subtract 9 minus 8, which will give us 1. If we're not looking for a decimal, we do not need to add a decimal zero. So now I know I can stop here and build my mixed number. As a reminder, our divisor is always our denominator, and our denominator stays the same, which is why we already wrote it. The answer you get at the top, your quotient, is always your whole number. So 2 whole times, and then our remainder is the last number that we got, and that is always your numerator. So 9/4 is equal to 2 1/4. What I would like for you to do is go ahead and solve the next 2 questions on your own. When you're done, please bring this paper to your teacher to check. If you have any questions, please let us know.